Netflix, you don't need cable. Hop on YouTube, welcome to the hood table, where we chop up local and global events vocally. You don't really wanna miss out on these conversations. Just joke a little, laugh a little, get that wine in your system, fill your glass a little. Expose current events, talk trash a little. You never know, these opinions might clash a little. They addicted to the content, got them binge watching. You don't like it, then you want invited. Bet your friends watching in the house and your job parking lot before you clocking. They don't wanna miss a second of this HT content. Everybody think they got something to say, so it's an open invitation, bring it to the table. But if you come whack, just know we ain't buying in. We gon' probably turn your back and tell you sorry, try again, Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable.
Hey everybody, what's up? What's going on? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, happy Diddy trial day 16. What up though? How y'all doing? Come on in. Make sure you like and share the video. Please and thank you very much. As usual, feel free to cash out for the commentary, okay? And send a super chat to your girl. But also make sure you like and share the video. And then subscribe if you happen to be new here and hit that notification bell. And what's up, 400? How you doing? What up, KJ? It's so good to see you guys again. As always, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to going through this Diddy trial day 16 with you guys. I have the transcripts ready. And from what I heard while I was, doing my little working and stuff, my little duties, from what I heard, there was somebody on the stand today, and it was alluding that there might be some impeaching. It didn't happen with Maya the other day, but y'all, will I get a shocker when I read these transcripts? Will I get a shocker? I heard that somebody was dangled over a balcony. I heard rumors about that before, but I didn't know who had said it or who had alleged. I heard that the Jane Doe hasn't spoken yet. Has Jane Doe spoken yet? I don't know, but I heard that she's still going to be able to remain anonymous. All right. Anonymity. Y'all know I can't never say that word right. Anonymity. I've been practicing. Okay. I've been practicing anonymity. But you said her today's testimony was explosive. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to get all into it, okay? And I got, let's see, it's 5:22 p.m., so y'all make sure I stay on schedule, because at 7 p.m. today, I have a contractor coming over to pick up this nice piece of cashier's check so they can get started on my roof, okay? Because I had to file a claim from all the hail damage that was happening in our neck of the wood in April. So they're going to start working on my roof in about a week or two. Anyway, so let's get this party started, y'all. Make sure y'all like and share the video again, one more again. And matter of fact, I had to shut my computer down, so I'm gonna have to pull the for work. I had to run to the bank and get the cashier's check so I could hand it off to these damn roofers, these contractors, okay? So let me scroll all the way back up. Okay. Oh, it was a lot, huh? I just literally be copying and pasting. Oh, I copied and pasted a lot. Hold on, y'all. I'm still scrolling up. Oh, God doggone. Dang. Okay, I hope we can get through this within an hour and a half. Maybe it just looks longer than what it is. But okay, so what up, Happy Life? How you doing? Hey, Queen Diva. How you doing, boo? It's good to see you, love. I hope everybody's having a wonderful hump day. Yes. So we about to jump right into it, right? Because I'm on a schedule. I'm on a time schedule. I got to meet with the contractor. So I'm going to hurry up and get through this, but I still will spend some time to chit chat and talk to you guys and discuss the, as always, make sure if you got anything to say or add, feel free to drop down and get your ego on in the chat, please, and thank you so much. I love the back and forth interaction with you guys, especially going over this juicy ass trial. Queen Diva, have you been following this shit, boy? Okay. Whew. Okay, so let's get to this explosiveness. Now, of course, the people who follow me throughout this trial so far, y'all know I don't get the transcripts till after work, and I literally copy and paste them, and then I go through them with you live. So I had no opportunity, as usual, to go through these transcripts. So it's my real live reaction when we go through these, okay? Thank you. Oh yeah, happy life. Where you been? Diddy been in jail for almost a year now? He went to jail last year, child. What's up, Detach Myself? And according to some people, they really believe that he gonna be in there for the rest of his golden years. Okay, but we gonna get started. Okay, so let me get me a sip of water because I'm about to be talking. Okay. So before the jury came in this morning, the judge said, what about the witnesses' conflicts with other romantic partners? The government says the last one was with a colleague, not a girlfriend. They also said, note, this is in the docket, despite the judge's orders, okay? Now, Diddy's attorney, Shapiro, I heard he got a whole law firm, y'all, but one of his attorney, Shapiro, who we've heard a lot from, he said this is an impeachment material. The judge said these are assaults under Rule 608B. Is that fair? Shapiro says it's not 608B. We're happy to provide the proffer ex parte. It's difficult to explain the fact. The judge says ex parte proffer is irregular. Filings too. Diddy's attorney says we want to put them in album art for Miss Ventura or Cassie's Love a Loser video. It shows she is engaged in business independent of Diddy. You're going to ask, why do you need photos? And the judge says, yes, I was going to ask that. So Shapiro says the government has done it too. The judge says, I don't see the probative value of these defense exhibits. The defense is free to question the witness about them. What about drugs? Diddy's attorney says it shows the witness was taking ketamine with Cassie and Diddy didn't like it. You know, Diddy, we already know Diddy didn't like her doing drugs with nobody but him. The government said it's inadmissible. The judge says Diddy says it's whack or whack. It goes to state of mind. It is admissible. Anything more? What about the Dr. Hughes letter? They said that was docketed at midnight. The judge says the defense has till Monday to respond. It's Dr. Hughes' second testimony about coercive control, given what the Second Circuit said in U.S. versus Larry Ray. The government says yes under that recent decision. So they said book on U.S. versus Larry Ray. Now, the government says we are working on a different instruction before the testimony of Jane. Of course, Jane is the one who also alleged that Diddy assaulted her. And they have been trying to discuss the pseudonym issue because remember, Jane, she was told that she had better, y'all remember that? The judge said she had better reveal her real name before a certain date or they was going to drop her case. But I believe they decided to let her continue with a pseudonym. I mean, why not? They didn't have other people do it. So I don't understand that. But anyway, the judge says, just hand it up if you agree and I'll read it. Does witness Brianna Bongleton need a Fifth Amendment immunity order? They say yes. Everybody will plead. Child, they pleading the Fifth. Everybody wants immunity because they all was doing illegal shit. What up, sugar mama? And thank you so much, Detach Myself. Detach said the Hood Table Sir King and I have been following you. You are awesome. You said I listen to Tisa, but now I know to listen to you. So the stuff is ooh, girl. It's disgusting. A lot of it is disgusting. Yes. So they said basically, we are working on a different instruction before the testimony of Jane on the pseudonym issue. But only thing wants to plead the fifth. They want an immunity order. The judge says, I'll ask our courtroom deputy to check on our jewelry. So the jewelry enters. All this happened before the jewelry even entered the room, okay? The government says, first, we wish to enter some exhibits into evidence before the jury. A search of Two Star Island by HSI found this cell phone, now para 14. The exhibits are excerpts of the data. The government says the data shows Twitter exhibits and text to D-Rock, which y'all know is one of the security guards, who says, we in the security room. The owner says, what does Shorty say? D-Rock says, Cass is calling studios looking for you. The owner says, what did she say on the other thing? Act like I am not fucking with her. D-Rock says, okay. The government says the owner asks, how is her eye? D-Rock says, I told everyone a fight broke out in the club. She ain't tripping. She ain't tell nobody. I'm about to call you. Okay, the judge says, all right, thank you. The government may call his next witness. So the government calls Frank Piazza. After the witnesses are sworn in, the government says, where do you work? At Legal Audio and Video. Have you testified before? Mostly criminal matters. I've also done some civil and depositions. Have you been qualified as an expert? 50 times. We moved to qualify Mr. Piazza as an expert. The defense says no objection. The judge says he's an expert. The government says, how many times have you worked for SDNY? Oh, 50 or 100 times. Does this impact your testimony? No, I do 75% defense work. Are you being paid? What is your hourly rate? I said rate. I said wait. What is your hourly rate? Piazza says $295. Ooh, I am definitely in the wrong line of business. He makes $295 an hour. The government says dollars. They say yes. Okay, the government says you analyze cell phone videos and surveillance videos. Piazza says yes. So let me show you. This is a video of, Diddy when he was running around kicking Cassie on the ground in the robe or in the towel. And they said, what is a frame rate? Piazza says frame per second, because you know that the defense, you guys, remember the other day, they were alleging that somebody had either altered the video, sped up the video, because they were saying Diddy was not right behind her on her heels like that. And so that's why they brought in this expert. So he said frame per second, it can cause a video to have more info per second. Piazza says this cell phone video, a video of a video, because remember we were talking about this yesterday, one of the security guards took his cell phone, held it up to the security footage on the screen and recorded it to take home. Okay, so he was saying it's a video of a video was shot on an iPhone 6, 30 seconds a frame. It was not edited or tampered with that I found. The government says, did you research a conclusion? Yes, they are accurate. And the surveillance video, there were issues. Piazza says the clock was sent to play 30 frames a second, but this was 22 frames. So it's played faster. We have to account for that. How? Piazza says we counted the frames and used software to correct the timing. Were the surveillance videos altered? No. Here, the video stream was corrupted. This has caused a distortion. The whole file or just these small pieces? That's what the government's asked. Piazza says the corruption exists in the video stream. There's a structure called a GOP, or group of pictures, and we have predictive frames. You don't know this, but a static camera does not record a wall that doesn't move each second. It is repeated. Only what moves is recorded. Thank you. The government says play 55 seconds. So they played 55 seconds of Diddy throwing Cassie to the ground and kicking her. They played this for the courtroom. The government said, did you see pixelation? Yes. Does it represent manipulation? No. You can choose motion activity. The camera only turns on when there is motion, but it causes timestamp issues. Go back frame by frame. I want to point something out. So basically what they're saying is the security camera is just like a home camera, like my Ring cameras. They basically move on motion. Sometimes the wind be going off. If it's real windy, my back door, my back door, where most of the trees and the wooded area is, it be going, somebody's at the back door. Somebody's at the back door. So all day and all night. And I'm like, fuck. Do I get up and look at the damn thing, or do I just assume it's the wind again? But yeah, so they're saying basically it doesn't move unless there's motion, or record unless there's motion. But they said it does cause timestamp issues. So go back frame by frame. I want to point something out. Piazza then goes on to say, this seems to be a collision of two issues. Look at the male sitting down, which was Diddy. There appears to be a ghost of a person. The motion activity begins to sense that we have motion. Now there is a full figure in the frame. That file is corrupted. Did you make a compilation? Yes. Your office requested it. They are edited to track the movement of individuals inside of the events. The government says, does it have different camera angles in it? Yes. And how did you show the changes? With a black screen. Is this the compilation? Yes. Okay, play the first 30 seconds. What is happening? Piazza says the male is running down the hallway. He threw her down. Now he's dragging her. And what did the man do? Dragging the woman, holding a bag. And how was it? What the hell? Hold on. There's a typo. What is he? Oh, what is he holding? It appears to be a cell phone glowing. I told y'all he stole his. Well, y'all saw that too. Y'all saw that too. But yeah, he snatched her cell phone and shit while he was beating her ass. He said it appears to be a cell phone glowing. The government says, let's focus on what happened in the mirror. Play that. What happened? The male picked up a small object, what appears to be a vase. We know he threw a vase at her, and threw it across the room at the woman. You said he didn't do Suge like that. Oh, no. From what I hear, he ain't did no nigga like that. Even when they said that he had grabbed all his guns and jumped in the car to go get at Suge at that diner, it never happened. They got in there, they got guns, but nothing ever happened. And even when he was coming for Kid Cudi, he didn't touch him. He broke into his house, did something to his dog, allegedly that was really horrible, and left his dog traumatized, and blew up the boy's car. But he didn't touch him. So the government says, continue playing. Who is emerging now? The female with a duffel bag, her luggage. Now who? The security person. Now Diddy walks away. Holding what? It appears to be a cell phone. He puts it to his ear. You find these accurate? Yes, and this was all the footage I had. Let's turn to the sex videos. Exhibit 201 to 210. Let me clarify, these are under seal. There was recovered from the Frank Black. We know that Frank Black is one of Diddy's nicknames when he booked hotel rooms. So anytime you hear Frank Black, that's Diddy. So they said these sex videos was recovered from Frank Black, the user, on a device provided to you by Cassie. The government says these are enhanced versions of original videos created in 2012 through 2014. Mr. Piazza, what were you asked to do with the sexually explicit video? He said, enhance the audio component. The government says we admitted these videos into evidence and no further questions. Then they took a break. And let me take a sip. So what do y'all think about that part so far? I did not know that they was going to call in a video analysis or expert. I didn't know that when they were discussing this the other day, trying to get it thrown out because they were saying the video was altered. And even if, let's say, Diddy did run up on her right away, let's say he ran up on her 5-10 minutes after she left the hotel room running for her life. What does that matter after he started stomping and kicking and dragging her and throwing vases and lamps and shit at her? The defense boy, I understand he paid a lot of money for these attorneys, but sometimes I'll be looking at them like suspect. 400 said, puff time up. Happy Life said, I heard Diddy took advantage of Justin when he was, you know what, Happy Life? Those are the allegations. Those are the allegations. Mm-hmm. Sure are. If anything ever came out and Justin ever said anything, I would absolutely believe it. I sure would. I sure would. But so after that, the government said they have no questions. Of course, Diddy's attorney, they got across. So Diddy's attorney Gallegos, he says, "What is your understanding of the source of these surveillance videos?" Piazza says, "The native system." "How did they come to your possession?" "They were exported and transcoded." "Who gave you the surveillance videos? Who gave the surveillance video to you?" "The U.S. Attorney Office." "And who gave it to them?" "I don't know." "Did you say it was from a cheap system?" "I don't think I said that." Garego says, "Let me show your notes. Exhibit 3500. The government said, "This is only for the witness." The judge says, "Yes." Diddy's attorney says, "So you called it cheap?" He says, "I don't know what this document, when it was created." Garegos, the attorney, says, "But you thought the system was cheap." Piazza said, "In a way." Grego said, "Let me play you Exhibit 10C103. Though there are 2 minutes not shown." Piazza says, "This is my corrected version, but there are a few issues that we cannot correct. The system is buffering some of the time, and that portions were motion activated." So that's what he's trying to make them understand. I think they understand, but the government, they're trying to throw Hail Marys whenever they can, right? So they're throwing a Hail Mary, insisting that it's been tampered with. But it makes absolutely sense. Of course, there are going to be minutes in between time if it's motion activated. If it's motion activated. I mean, most of us have a motion activated security system, right? I'm like, damn. What up, Just the Facts? How you doing? They trying to throw a Hail Mary over there. You said I was sick to my stomach when I saw that video. Man, do you know how many of us females wanted to just roll up on Diddy? And I'm not even a huge Cassie fan or nothing like that. It didn't matter if she was just some lady off the street, his wife, somebody famous, whatever. It's like, oh, nah, he needs to get his. And for what I heard, he gonna be getting it in jail if he ain't already. But then again, he might like that, especially if they got some baby oil and some Astroglide. Okay. But anyway, and again, I didn't even know what Astroglide was until this trial. So, the attorney Gallegos, he goes on. He says, "Let's again play the male coming into the elevator bank at 11:02, and then the timestamps are jumping around. On the video, Cassie is being kicked on the ground. Piazza says it's constantly playing catch up. Grego says, play ahead. We're at 11:11 and 28 seconds. Gallegos says the female picks up the house phone. Remember when Cassie picked up the phone on the wall? And he said there's some sort of cut. Can you explain? Piazza, the expert, says, can you back up and go frame by frame? Grego says, sure, but is the male separated from her? Piazza said, yes, the bag drop triggered it. So the bag dropped. When he ran up on Cassie and she was on that phone trying to call down to the front desk for help, the bag dropped and it triggered the motion security camera again. And there was a 10-second difference. Oh Lord, this is anyway, this is irking me. But anyway, they said programming note. Hold on. Now resume, but this need to be fixed. Okay. So Diddy's attorney says, let's watch it again. Did we jump about 10 seconds on the timestamp? And Piazza says yes. Piazza says there is a 5-second offset between the two cameras. That's what you just shown. So there was 5 seconds on one camera, 5 seconds on the other camera. That's what equals to 10 seconds. Diddy's attorney says, okay, the female picks up the phone and the male walks away. Start it again, please. Is this his way? Is he walking away? And Piazza says yes. Diddy's attorney says play some more. Diddy's attorney says, did you see this translucent or ghost-like figure in the cell phone in the surveillance video? Piazza says the cell phone video was not high quality enough to capture it, but it's not there. That's what Diddy's attorney says. Piazza says it is not. Are y'all following this? Diddy's attorney says, Mr. Piazza, thank you so much for coming. We have no further questions for you. The judge says, government, do y'all want to redirect? Yes, we would love to. So, they are 5 minutes off? Asked the government. Piazza says, my notes told me there was a 5-minute, 55-second difference and another offset of 5 seconds. Do these videos reliably and accurate depict what happened? Do they accurately depict what happened? Piazza said yes. The judge says you may go. And before the next witness, the judge wanted a sidebar. So they was like trying to say there was a ghost of Diddy. You know, people saying he's a demon, he's demonic. The defense is like, don't you see that ghost-like figure right there? Y'all. Oh, child. Oh my God, what was the defense doing? You know what? It's so funny because I'm no expert to videography, security, surveillance, and I didn't even have to hear all that to know what the fuck was going on with the video camera footage. They really trying to make it seem like somebody altered it, sped it up, slowed it down, put a ghost in there. Diddy's ghost of Christmas, Thanksgiving, Freak Off Eve. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, y'all. No, she wasn't calling from her cell phone. She was calling from the wall phone. It was a wall phone. It was a phone. When Diddy had got there to her, he was beating her and hitting on her and shit like that. And then when he drug her shit around the corner, she walked over to the wall to grab the phone. And then his ass came back around the corner. And when he walked up to her to the phone, when she was on the wall phone, that's when her bag dropped. And that's when they talking about the camera picked up again. So every time Diddy was kicking and stomping on her, the camera was still going, as we saw. But when they were coming around those corners and when Cassie was standing by herself, it do look like there's some missing feed. But it was because it's a motion camera and Cassie was just standing there. And Diddy was around the member. I'm going to have to, the videos in my videos, okay? The videos in my videos. I got it labeled camera footage of the hotel. It's labeled something like that. I'll find it and I'll pin it under this video. But yeah, and then I also showed y'all the extended version, the version we didn't see when the video first got out. So I got the extended version on my videos, under my videos. So thank you. Yes, no problem, no problem. And all my Diddy videos, they're all on the playlist. So if you click my Diddy trial commentary playlist, you'll see every video I've done since the beginning of this foolala. But definitely that video's on there too. But yes, Detach said, child. And the sad part is he has daughters. And you know what, Detach myself? Them be the ones. I'm telling you, them be the ones who do the most to women, who disrespect the women the most, who abuse the women the most. And you got to sit there and be like, what if somebody did that? Like all the people who still support people like that, like Diddy and Kells. And when you ask them shit like, what if that was your daughter? Like, would it have been okay then? Would it have been okay if that was your daughter who was looking for stardom and fame and got hoodwinked and involved in a very abusive relationship? Like, it's sick. It's sick. Because somebody like that definitely wouldn't want nobody to do that to their daughter. But then again, who the hell knows? this man's abusiveness, his abusive overusing his authority and power. Who knows if he has done something to people inside his family? I ain't talking about what a lot of people is accusing. I'm just talking about like violence. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say he did that. Not that. This, but not that. Okay. But yeah, so moving right along. Okay, so after the sidebar, the judge says, bring your next witness. The government brought in Brianna Bongalon, and this is where I heard it got really interesting, y'all. So, they said, what else are you called? She says, Bana. So the government says, what do you work in? Fashion design. And what did he do to you? Held me over a 17th store balcony. The government says, any after effects? Night terrors. I wake up in my sleep. And who is this? Showing her a photo. It's Cassie. Cassie's my friend. I met her in 2013 at Young and Reckless, the streetwear company, then at Diamond Designs. And how would you describe Cassie's relationship with Diddy? Volatile. I did not want to meet him right away. I had seen a black eye and she begged me to meet him. Did you do design work for Diddy? A little. Where did Diddy live? I think in like Beverly Hills. Diddy's attorney, Nicole Westmoreland, she says objection, speculation. The judge says, ask another question. Do you know the name of the street? Mapleton, 200 South Mapleton. The government says, what did you do with Cassie? We did drugs and we go shopping and we hang out with Deontay and others. Y'all know Deontay was the stylist for Diddy and Cassie and also helped produce music. The government says, is this a photo of you and Cassie shopping? Yes. In April 2016, Puff texted Cassie, asked where she was, and sent a list where we been. So not only did they say Puff text Cassie to ask where she was, but Cassie had to send him a list of where they been. Some people probably didn't catch that. The government said, had you or Cassie told Diddy where you were? No. And how did it make you feel? Objection from Diddy's attorney. Judge overruled. I was like, oh my God, he knows where we've been? You know that they said that Diddy had a tracker on Cassie, right? Y'all remember that, right? They testified the other day that Diddy had a tracker on Cassie. So he always knew where she was anyway. But I wonder if he like tried to catch her in a lie or get her caught up in something so he could beat her or get mad at her or something like that. I don't know. Some people would do some shit like that. But yeah, Bongleton was like, oh my God, why is he stalking us? So the government says, where would you sleep at Cassie's house? On the couch or on the balcony? And the government says, did Diddy come over? Yes, he banged on the door and came in. And do you know why? I don't know. He was upset. He threw a knife in her direction and she threw it back. He left swiftly. Were you doing drugs? I don't remember. Did you call the police? No. Why not? I was scared. Did you see injuries on Cassie? She showed me on FaceTime before makeup for the perfect match. And what did she say? She was quiet. We were at a party at the Blind Dragon, a karaoke bar in West Hollywood. Then we went to Cassie's house to help her pack. And Deontay was there. Puff came. The government says, are you under subpoena? They call her Banna. She goes by Banna. Banna said, yes, I won't get in trouble if I am truthful. Remember, she wanted immunity. Okay. So she said she won't get in trouble. She wants to make sure she don't get in trouble if she's being truthful. So basically she's being truthful. Why lie? Right? So the government goes on to say, did Diddy provide you drugs? Yes. One was called G, and I am not an average user. Ketamine, marijuana, cocaine. How often did you get drugs for Cassie? Often, like those oxy pills. Did she pay you? Yes. Did you get drugs for Diddy? Yes, once, cocaine. Did you sell drugs to others? Yes, sometimes. Did you try with Cassie to stop drugs? Yes, we tried to cook, but there was a lot of drugs around. Now, just want to let you guys know, this Bana girl, Brianna Bongalon, who goes by Bana, she was the one back in 2024 who accused him of assault, including an incident where he allegedly dangled her over a 17th floor balcony in 2016. The lawsuit includes claims of sexual battery, false imprisonment, emotional distress, and she's seeking 10 million in damages. I'm reading this for the people who don't know. This is in my notes. And these allegations come alongside several other legal cases, of course, against Diddy, involving claims of abuse and misconduct. Representatives for Diddy, of course, they've always denied. And he's always denied any of the accusations. So that's just a little side note. So some of y'all know a little bit more about this Bana, who claims she was dangled over the balcony. Now, the government says, has Diddy ever threatened you? Yes. Let me show you a photo from April 2016. Who is in it? Bana says, this photographer who goes by the name Bad Boy with an I. We thought it was cool. That was his name. We thought we'd make some art. And Bana says, Puff came up close to my face and said, I am the devil and I could kill you. And Bana started crying in the courtroom as she recalled that situation. That is too much, Sugar Mama. You said that is too much. That is creepy. Yeah, that is creepy. That is creepy. Now, I know that some people had that thing on with their spouse or mates or kids where you could like find somebody or something. And I think that's really, really a great idea, especially if you have children. I know a lot of people have been found using those apps by their loved ones, whether they was in a storm, whether they drove off a bridge, whether they were in a river, car upside down, whether they were kidnapped or they were lost. I mean, those things do help in a time of need. They really do. But to just put a tracker on somebody because you just want to know where they at all times, 25/8, 366, no, that's But anyway, I'm not surprised. So, she starts sobbing when she recalls how Diddy told her, I'm the devil and I could kill you. And the government says, were you taking any drugs that day? She said, probably cocaine. The government says, did you continue to see Diddy after that? Yes. Why? I don't know. Did you tell the government about this threat in your first meeting? No. Why not? Objection from Diddy's attorney. Sustain. We could break here, says the government. So they take a break. Now, does she sound like a dealer to y'all? Does Bana sound like a dealer to y'all? Or just somebody who's taking drugs with their friends? Because people are alleging that she was actually a dope dealer. Not just getting high. You know. Because there are people who get high and they like to do drugs with their friends. And sometimes their friends might be a little short. So, and sometimes their friend might be like, I can't get a hold to my, supplier. Can I get a little something of yours? And they be like, oh, yeah, give me 20. I got a little something for you. Does that technically make them a drug dealer? I don't know. They saying that she's a drug dealer. But anyway. As far as like the drugs go, everybody knew that Diddy did drugs. But when you think about all the crimes that Diddy is facing charges for, like kidnappings and variations of kidnapping, arson and attempted conspiracy, bribery of a witness, which we witnessed yesterday on the stand, conspiracy with that, witness tampering, obstruction of justice, forced labor and aiding and abetting, trafficking, sex trafficking, prostitution, transportation of prostitution, again, sex trafficking, inducement, keeping people drugged up and high, drug distribution and conspiracy, drug trafficking. Is that enough? Is that enough for people to be like, oh yeah, I see where they got the RICO from? Is that enough? Or do people still need more? KJ, it's RICO all day, every day, no matter how you play it. But anyway, some people need more. We need to see more. I don't know what else you can pull out the damn hat. But anyway, after they came back, the judge says, anything before we bring the jury back in. The government says no disputes and they start laughing. But we now think Jane will not get on the stand today, given how this is going. We would like to get Enrique Santos on today, some exhibits for Jane and tech issues. The judge says okay. The jury comes out, then is told to return to the jury room. The judge says, jurors, we have some technical issues. Have to go under the tables. I'm going to ask you to retire to the jury room just for your comfort. We'll bring you back in a few minutes. So the jury comes back. The government says, what happened on the balcony? And Bonner says, I was there. Now, was there? And Bonner says, Cassie and my ex-girlfriend at the time. And what were you doing? Bonner says, sleeping on the couch with my ex. The government says, were you doing drugs? I don't recall. What did you do when Diddy arrived? I took my ex-girlfriend to the bathroom and I went, shh. Why? I didn't want to expose her to what I saw. Then we went out on the balcony and either lit the blunt or I was about to. And so she left her ex in the bathroom, went out to the balcony and lit a blunt or was about to. Diddy came up behind me on the balcony. He lifted me up and put me on the railing. Can you show us how he held you? Bonner said, to myself? The government said, show us. How much did you weigh? Bonner says, I can't say because of the drugs, but about 115 pounds. What did Diddy scream at you? He yelled, you know what the fuck you did? And I said back, I don't know what the fuck I did. And how long did he hold you there? Bonner says, how long it takes to say that multiple times? You know what the fuck you did? So I guess they was going back and forth. You know what the fuck? I don't know what the fuck. You know what the fuck? I don't know what the fuck. Okay. So then the government says, what next? He threw me on the balcony furniture. Were you injured? I didn't know that at first. What did Cassie say? Along the lines of, did you just hang her over the balcony? Then I heard her girlfriend is in the house. So while Diddy out there hanging folks over the balcony like shit, you know what? Allegedly, I heard Show was doing that shit too. But you know who I know for sure was doing that shit? Remember Big Red? My hours are 9 to 5. And if you come outside of those hours, you might end up hanging over the balcony. Y'all remember that shit? Big Red, my hours are 9 to 5. Ha ha! What up, Tay-Bay? KJ said it's clear to us, but up to the juries. I hope they aren't starstruck. Child. If they are starstruck, we in trouble. That's why he has his kids and mom there to garner sympathy. Absolutely. Absolutely. You say, yes, I remember. I don't know what drugs have to do with Diddy hanging on 17 stories high, child. I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Diddy, I wonder if they trying to say, if you were high, could you have imagined it? Like the defense was like, is that a ghost in the mirror? Is that a ghost in the cell phone? Y'all, this is just a mess. Just a mess. So, that basically Cassie said her girlfriend is in the house. So Bonner said he left, and then I left. I wanted to take a shower. I felt disgusted. I saw a huge bruise on my leg with like piercing in the middle and back and neck pain. And the government said, is this the photo a fair and accurate representation of your leg? And Bonna said, yes. Bonna said, I called one of my managers and they said, if you're scared of anything else, just go to the chiropractor. And the government said, did you tell the chiropractor who done it to you? Nope. They asked, but I paid and took the neck brace. The government said, is this the neck brace in the photo of you? Yes. Did you ever talk to Diddy about this? I said, I don't want any problems with you. And he didn't say anything. When did you last see him? January 2nd, 2018. And how do you remember? I tattooed the date on myself. Why? It's the day I decided to get sober. It was a New Year's thing in Miami at the one hotel. Puff, Diddy, and I did 8 hours of ketamine together. Damn. 8 hours. And so the government said, are you aware Cassie included the balcony incident in her complaint? Yes, I told her she had facts wrong. I wasn't in a hotel. And Tiffany. The government said, have you talked with Cassie about your testimony or hers? No, I have nightmares. I'll be screaming. When was the last time you had nightmares? The other day. And have you hired a lawyer about the balcony incident? Yes, my first lawyer I hired in January 2024. Did you mention everything in your first meeting with us? No. Did your first lawyer send demand letters to Diddy? Multiple, and the demand was high. He picked it. The government said, did you approve the letters? No, they were incorrect. I let them go. Who? Tyrone Blackburn. Tyrone Blackburn. Now, y'all remember, Tyrone Blackburn is involved in quite a few lawsuits against Diddy, including Rod Jones. Y'all know Rod Jones, okay? So then after that, the government says, did people reach out to you? Yes, Tiffany, Cassie, and the producer Rob Holiday. Was he friends with Diddy? Yes. Diddy's attorney says, may we have a sidebar? The judge says you may. And let me take a drink real quick while they doing the sidebar. That is a long time, but people who are addicted to drugs, they be binging, man. And then when they come down from it, ooh, wee. You know what? I always wondered why people, well, okay, in my younger years, I always wondered why people would do drugs. Especially after you would hear, remember back in the day, I mean, drugs was every other commercial. They had eggs cracking on the ground, eggs cracking in the skillet, eggs cracking on people's head. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Crack is whack. You know, all that kind of shit, like Whitney. I always wonder how people could get on drugs, especially with all those warnings and seeing all those people walking the streets and, you know, drunk and high and prostituting and all that kind of shit, harming their families. I always wonder how people could do that. And then I was reading something the other day, and it said something about when you smoke crack cocaine or any of those type of things, or heroin or any of those type of things, you literally only be high for minutes. For minutes. But the high is so intense that people continually, we know how it goes, they continually chase that high. But I didn't know that you only be high for a few minutes. I'm thinking if you smoke crack or cocaine or heroin or any of that shit, I'm thinking, I mean, even with weed, you be high for like, weed can keep you high for some hours, okay? Like, so I'm thinking this shit that is so much stronger than Mary Jane only keeps you high for a few minutes. They like 5 or 10 at the most. And that's why people spend so much money. Like the rich people, they spend so much thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a day because they can easily afford it to continually be high throughout the day. So 8 hours, it seems like a lot, but shit, they The things you can do with money, boy. The things you can do with money. And that's why some people say they never want to be rich, because it's the rich people who have all this wealth and money who be the ones on all the drugs, doing all the illegal bullshit. And what's their excuse? I'm bored. There's nothing else on earth that I need to buy, or nothing else on earth that I need. And they get bored with their money. And that's when they have freak off parties and have people swimming around like baby seals and shit with baby oil all over them, and Astroglide up their butts. You know what I'm saying? And people urinating on each other. Like, that's what rich people do when they get bored. I don't want to be rich. You know that song? I want to be rich. I don't want to be rich. I just want to be a little well off. That's all. Pay my bills and have a little money left over to go out. You know. That's all I want. I don't want to be rich no more. But yes. So, all right, they had a little breaky break. So they came back. The government said, who did Mr. Holiday say he was calling for? Puff. What offer was he authorized to offer? Objection from Diddy's attorney. Sustained. The government says, how did you feel during the call? I declined the offer. Objective. Diddy's attorney, sat your ass down. No. Okay. Diddy's attorney says not responsive. The judge says sustain. Move on unless you are prepared to ask some of the foundational questions we discussed at the sidebar. So the government says, did you talk with him again? No. Okay, so after another sidebar, the judge says the objections are sustained. Move on. So the government says, your lawsuit, did you write it? No. How much is being requested? $10 million. Nothing further. Nothing further. Told y'all 10 million. I just told y'all that a few minutes ago, right? See, I'll be doing my little research. But 10 million. So the government says nothing further. The judge says cross. Come on, Diddy's peeps. Come on, Diddy's peep. Okay, so Diddy's attorney Westmoreland. Yes, please, we would like to cross. So they ask, I need to ask you some questions. You have immunity as long as you say today is true, right? Yes. Who decides if you're lying? Bonna says the prosecutors. Diddy's attorney says, Bonna, you're a graphic designer? Yes. You and Cassie will work on designs including at her hour true? Yes. All right. You were focused on a t-shirt design. There were a lot of things. Did she ask you to come over? Yes. You suggested that Cassie do a photo shoot in the pool in just a t-shirt. That wasn't the first idea, but yeah. You began to feel comfortable with her? Sounds around it. You spent the night? Yes. You went to parties with Cassie. Not going to parties, we party. Okay, tell the attorney there's a difference. We didn't go to parties, we partied. Diddy's attorney says, okay, you did a lot of drugs with Cassie. Yes. And how did marijuana make you feel? Sometimes hungry. How does ecstasy make you feel? Uplighted. How about G? Like the negative part of alcohol. What about perks? I threw up. And Cocoa Puff? Blunt with weed and cocaine. Did y'all hold up, y'all? Ooh, they done created their own drug. Shut the fucking front door. Did y'all hear that shit? You said all I need is weed and I'm good. Did y'all hear that shit? He said, how did Cocoa Puff make you feel? Who the fuck created Cocoa Puff? Please tell me Puff didn't do that. Please tell me that's just something that they do on the West Coast or just something I ain't never heard of. Because okay. Anyway, so the drug is Cocoa Puff, but what it is a blunt with weed and cocaine. We don't call that Cocoa Puff. What do y'all call that where y'all from? Weed and cocaine. We don't call it Cocoa Puff. But okay, that's a cute name. That's a cute name. Anyway, Diddy's attorney goes on. You would agree with me that you and Cassie had a serious drug problem? Yes. You sold drugs to Cassie a lot? Yes. You got her hundreds of pills? Yes, they were hers. Name the drug dealers. I don't know if I can. Let's refresh. In this job, your clothing line did not work out due to the skater mentality at Diamond Supply Company. Bonner says, I believe they saw the vision, but whatever. Diddy's attorney says, you believe you were one of Cassie's best friends. Yes. But you didn't meet Diddy for a year. You met him in 2016. First time at a dinner at this house? Yes. He was standoffish with you? Yes. Did you talk with Deontay Nash? Y'all know that's the stylist. After his testimony? Yes. But not about his testimony, right? We know what's going on. You don't need to talk because you know. Objection from the government. Sustained, says the judge. Diddy's attorney goes on. You hired Tyrone Blackburn to sue Diddy? It was to seek justice. Your definition of justice is to sue Diddy? Donna says, can you please rephrase that? No, she ain't doing the prosecutor's job or the judge's job. Donna said, could you please rephrase that? Diddy's attorney says, suing for money. Yes. Diddy's attorney goes on. November 2023, you are aware Cassie filed a lawsuit. You were working together then. Yes. May we have a sidebar? The judge says you may. The government wants to have a sidebar. So they did have a sidebar. And then after they came back, Diddy's attorney says, Cassie included the balcony incident in her lawsuit. Bonner says, true. Diddy's attorney says, Cassie said this happened at a hotel. True. Bonner says she didn't say it like that. Diddy's attorney said, you said your apartment. It has a balcony? Bonner says, I didn't say it like that. Diddy's attorney says, Cassie told that she never saw you over a balcony. Bonner says, no, ma'am, I don't remember. Westmoreland, Diddy's attorney starts laughing in her face, y'all. Diddy's attorney starts laughing in Bonner's face and says, all right. I can picture this because, you know, we can't see it. We just hear about it. So I can imagine he's up there. All right. Right here. Read his face, then look up. You had these conversations? Bonner was like, I don't know. Diddy's attorney says, about this alleged balcony incident, you and Cassie talked about the date, the place, who was there. And Bonner says, true. In 2015 and 2016, you didn't see any signs of violence. True. Bonner says, I don't know the exact year. Diddy's attorney, the birthday party, what drugs were you taking? I don't remember. The alleged knife throwing incident, he just walked in and threw a knife? Bonner said, I'm not sure. Diddy's attorney says, are you telling the truth? Objection from the government. Sustained by the judge. Diddy's attorney said, didn't you tell the government they would get in knife fights, like plural? Bonner says, I don't remember. Diddy's attorney says, let me show you. Bonner says, I was suggesting where the knife came from. Diddy's attorney says, because it makes no sense. Diddy's attorney, you're saying you don't know how he got in to throw the knife. But once he left, you're no longer worried. Bonner says, I don't remember how I felt. Diddy's attorney, you say at a photo shoot, Diddy said, I could kill you. Yes. But at first you told the government it was at a party. Bonner says, I don't know. Diddy's attorney, your first demand letter said Diddy said, I could kill you while he hung you over the balcony. Bonner says he did both, just not at the same time. Somebody said he was laughing because they were ready to impeach her. I think he's trying to get her thrown out for impeachment. So, of course, they had another sidebar because the government asked. After a long sidebar, Diddy's attorney says, you met the government January 18, 2024, didn't mention the I could kill you, but put it in your subsequent demand letter. Bonner says, yes, in a demand letter. I don't know when. Child, this ain't looking too good for Bonner, y'all. This is not looking good at all. So Diddy's attorney says, read this. Bonner says, the whole thing? Just a paragraph. The judge says, as much as you want. Okay, so Bonner says, thanks. Okay. Diddy's attorney says, you didn't tell the government about the I could kill you and Tyrone was there? Bonner says, yes, I let him go. Diddy's attorney says, drugs were expensive, right? They are expensive. Are they now? I don't know. Did you run out of money for drugs? I don't remember that. You and Cassie had a drug partnership. Yes. Cassie will pay for the drugs. You go buy them? Yes. Did you meet the government on May 25th, 2025 and June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th? Yeah, that's not long ago. Diddy said, that's today? Bonner says, I'm not good with dates. You know what? He almost got me caught on that one, y'all. I'm like May 25th, May 20. See, when I didn't even see the June part. I'm getting dyslexic over here reading all this shit, and I got my glasses on. But anyway, May 25th, 2025, and June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And Bonner says, I'm not good with dates. Diddy's attorney says, the balcony incident. Didn't you tell the government there was a party in the apartment? I don't remember that. You told the government your girlfriend was in the bathroom. Not that you took her in there. And Bonner says, my ex. Diddy's attorney says, your complaint says you were smoking a cigarette on the balcony, not weed. This don't sound good, y'all. I ain't saying, listen, y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'm not saying that Diddy didn't probably hold her over that balcony. But what I think is some of the same things with Cassie. When you own that much drugs, doing drugs all day, every day, weeks on end, months on end, you cannot remember everything. Some things is going to be a little blur. And sometimes you might mix up events. You know? So what up? He said 51s. I know how they call it puff. What I say they call it? Cocoa puff balls. Oh my goodness. But yeah, you said of course he has to brand everything. Yes, he has. You said, damn, they got all kind of names for drugs, but I ain't never heard of a Cocoa Puff for cocaine and weed. I ain't never heard it called that either. So this Bonner says, I don't remember. Oh, Lord. This is, it don't look good. It don't look good. So, the attorney for Diddy says, different things. And Bonner says, yes. The attorney says, you told the government you recall he was charging at you. I don't remember. Didn't you first say Diddy sexually assaulted you on the balcony? I showed them where his hands were. The attorney says, you said he groped your breasts, or your lawyer said it. Bonner says, my lawyer said it. Now, if he did in fact grope her breast, that's sexually assaulted. You shouldn't put your hands on nobody's private body parts or genitalia area or anything like that. Even if you didn't have sex, that's still considered sexual assault. For those of y'all who might not know, I'm sure y'all in the chat know, but for some of the people who might watch the replay or some of the people in the back, But Diddy said, Diddy's attorney said, didn't you tell the prosecutors 2 days ago that you couldn't remember what happened out on the balcony? Bonner says, I don't remember. Do you remember what drugs you were on? No. Didn't you tell the government you took Molly, G, and cocaine? Bonner said, that's a lot of drugs. She ain't lying. And so Diddy's attorney said, didn't you take them all? No, all on that night. Diddy's attorney said, how much more do you have? No, the judge asked Diddy's attorney, how much more do you have? Diddy's attorney said, how much can I get? And he laughs. I like to finish today. The judge says, I asked how long? Diddy's attorney says, quite a bit more. The judge said, juries, you may go until 11 a.m. tomorrow. The judge said, dismiss. Get out of here. This shit about to go on forever and ever. So the judge dismissed the jury, dismissed the court, So as the jury was leaving, the judge asked one more again, how much more? And Diddy's attorney says, oh, maybe 45 minutes, maybe 30. The judge says, anything else? The government says, I emailed you during the afternoon about the pseudonym order for Jane. Jane Joe, she's the one who doesn't want to be known, even though the judge at first said, you got till such and such date. I can't remember the date the judge gave her to say who your real name is. Say what your real name is, otherwise we're gonna throw your shit out because it's a lawsuit. It's not just a lot of these people are not just testifying. They actually have they have a lawsuit going on too. So the judge said if you don't want your case thrown out, then you need to tell us your real name. But like I said, I think they told her that she could stay Jane. So anyway, Diddy's attorney said there has been a chilling effect on media coverage, even the demeanor of the witnesses. The judge says, I don't think people in the courtroom and the other courtrooms were trying to violate the order, nor do I think they were chilled. And the judge says, where are the arguments? Diddy's attorney says, I disagree that there has been no chilling effect. What the fuck is what they talking about? I'm trying to read between the lines. They said there's been a chilling effect on the media. The judge says, I don't think they were chilled. Diddy's attorney says, I disagree that there has been a chilling effect, at least with respect to the mainstream press. The judge says, I think I will be reading the order. What order? When will any of this be docketed? Diddy's attorney, now we can't even talk to him on the phone. He has the minutes, but he can't call us. So now Diddy has plenty of minutes on his phone, but they can't talk. It says you have no minutes. The judge said, what does MDC legal say? There has no minutes. So how does Diddy have minutes on his phone to talk, but then it says there's no minutes? So the judge says, can you use core links? Diddy's attorney said, that's not like texting. It can be on a 48-hour delay. The judge says, I will issue an order. See you tomorrow. Adjourned. Child, these attorneys can't get no time with Diddy. It seemed like no matter how much they try as they might, they can't seem to get any time with Diddy. Now they talking about he got time, he got minutes, but he don't have the minutes on the phone. And child, And then when the judge offered for them to come in early the other day, he said 7:30 to 8. That's not good enough for y'all. 7 to 8:30 in the morning or after court. But we know court sometimes ends late, right? So, And then they said the marshals be in the courtroom. And then yesterday they said, well, we don't care if the marshals is in the courtroom. We just need to talk to our attorney. We need a resolution. In my Kurt Franklin voice, do you want a resolution? What's up? How you doing, Room Shaker? What's shaking, baby? But you said, of course, he has to brand it. Yes, Cocoa Puffs. Child, This is a lot. And I finished on time. I still got 30 minutes before these contractors, well, not contractors, but the representative of the roofing company comes to pick up my cashier check so they can get started on my roof. I can't wait to get my roof done. It ain't like I'm getting a new car or something, but a roof adds value to your home. You know what I'm saying? And allegedly, well, I ain't gonna say allegedly because I saw the damage and I was quite surprised when I saw the damage to all the hell what had done to my roof. And then to all my window covers and to my siding and to my awning over my back patio. And I love the awning over my back patio. My patio is really big. It's like 13 by 15 or something. And it has an awning on it, like a metal type of awning. Buildings that have companies that have the metal awnings, not like the cloth awnings that some people have like over their windows or over their front doors, but like it's foolproof supposed to be. But yeah, I love sitting under that thing and it keeps you from the heat and stuff. So yeah, that has hail damage. So I had a lot of hail damage. And when they showed me my roof, I was like, wow. But from what I hear from the insurance company, from the contractors, the insurance company, and some of y'all maybe have to get your roof done before, but they said if it's like more than 8 dents or 8 hail dents or whatever every so many feet, then the insurance company normally approves for whatever the adjuster says they need for the contractors to do your roof. And so mine got approved right away. That's how much hail damage is up there on my roof and all over everywhere else. But so it's not like I'm getting a new car or nothing like that. It's just a new roof, but still, it adds value, and that gives you like what, 10, 15 more years of hopefully some good protection. We in the Midwest though. We have bad storms, we have bad winters. So we get hail, summer, spring, winter. So I hope that the new roof lasts quite a while. But it does have a warranty. I think the warranty is 7 or 8 years. And they say you need to replace your roof like every 10 to 15 years. So at least the warranty is like half of that. So I ain't tripping. But anyway, so I'm going to get off of here now, you guys. Normally I would drop the link so you guys could chit chat with me about what we discussed or what you heard or what you saw out there on the blogs or social media. But I'm going to get my butt off of here so I won't be on here still talking when the man comes to the door. But he knows I'm a YouTuber. And I told him ahead of time, I said, I might still be doing my show when you come. And he said, so do you want me to text you instead of ringing the doorbell? I said, thank you. Please just text me. So he said he'll text me. But yeah, and he also knows I decorate cakes, and he wants a strawberry cheesecake, y'all. I'm like, a strawberry cheesecake? Well, let me see how well y'all do my roof. I might have to give you a little tip. Give you a little tip, send you home with some little berries, and some cheesecake and stuff like that. But yeah, when the roofers come, I'm gonna make sure that normally when I have people do stuff on my house, I always, and that's whether they moving furniture, whether they putting down flooring or doing yard work, I always make sure I got snacks and water and juice and stuff like that. So I'm gonna make sure I be stocked up when the roofers do come, because it's probably kind of hot because they're gonna start in 2 weeks. That's gonna be going on July. So I'm gonna make sure I have some refreshments and stuff here, even though I know they'll probably have their own refreshments, water and stuff, but just to be nice. But anyway, you guys, I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow, Jane is supposed to start, I believe, in the afternoon, maybe this Jane though, the other one who says that Diddy assaulted her, not hung her off the balcony, but did some other things to her. And I guess we're going to hear from her after they finish with Bono. And I think there's a few more people, unless they pull some more rabbits out the hat. I don't know how they're going to go to July 4th. That's like still another month away. And then they talking about they were going to cut some of their witnesses. So I'm interested to see how this is all going to work out and who all we got left to listen to. But yes. Thank you, Sugar Mama. I appreciate it. Thank you, Boo. And I appreciate all of you guys. As always, it's always a pleasure to come out here and discuss things with y'all. Anything from the hood to the White House. You know how we do. But make sure you like and share the video. Thank you, Noble. I appreciate you, Boo. You said Diddy going to jail. Somebody in the chat, who was that Happy Life talking about, is Diddy in jail? I'm like, Happy Life, where the hell you been? Diddy been in jail, okay? Yes, Diddy is in jail right now, but is he gonna get out of jail is the question. Or is he gonna die in jail? The question. Is he gonna go out in jail? Is he gonna get out of jail? Is he gonna Pac for life? That's right. Pac for life. I don't know why. I always feel a little sad, just a little sad every time I think about certain people's deaths. And Pac is one of those people. I think Pac, Left Eye, Whitney, and who else? What is that guy's name? Oh gosh. What is his name? Y'all know the H-Town, the guy from H-Town, was it Dino? The lead singer? When Dino died of H-Town, I'm telling you, H-Town was one of my, up there with, when we go back to that time era, like H-Town, 112, Black Street, Guy. I always love my Keith Sweats. He's been around forever, but during that time period, H-Town was one of my favorite male groups. And when Dino passed, it's like certain people that it hurts a little bit. I get a little sad when I hear hear their names and stuff like that. But you say he's going to dance in jail. He probably are in there dancing. Ooh, he doing something. He doing something in there, doing something a little strange for a little change, so he can get something to dye his hair with. I never would have thought that Diddy was a whole gray head fool. I never would have thought it. I never thought that Diddy was dyeing his hair like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because his complexion. See, now if it's a light person and they have really jet black hair, sometimes you might be like, oh, they dye their hair, but Diddy with his complexion and as dark as his hair was, it just seemed natural. So for him not to be in jail for that much time and he already started going gray, the dye only lasts like what, 4 to 6 weeks. But yeah, I couldn't believe that he was totally gray-headed. I just couldn't believe that. Yeah, 400. I'm going old school, honey. The 90s, I'm telling you, nobody does it like the 90s. I love a lot of genres. I love a lot of generational music. But the 90s is where it stopped. And I put that on anything I love. I put that on my mama, on my hood. The 90s is where the best music stopped. Everything after that is like, okay, yeah, it works. They can sing, but nobody has made you feel what you feel in music since the 90s. These days, it's like the songs they be singing, okay, they sound good, some of them. The rappers, oh, they all right. Some of them you can't understand, but it's just something about the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. That was the lit period of music. I don't think we'll ever get anything back. It's unexplainable. Yesterday I was watching something. There was a compilation video I found on YouTube, or was it Facebook? It was a compilation video that came down my timeline on Facebook. And it was all the old school dance groups like New Edition, all the old school rap groups, just I can't think of all the people that was on there, but like, who was it? It was Bobby Brown. It was New Edition in them. It was who a Kid and Play. Oh gosh, I can't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. I can't remember. But like all the old school groups out there, when they dance, we dance. Like they say, nobody danced harder than the people in the 90s, and that is on period. When they showed all the Running Mans and all the swoops and all the, remember how what's his name? Oh shit, Kid and Play. Remember how they used to like jump over their legs and all kind of different shit like that. Like nobody does it like we used to do it. Nobody. The dances that they make up now, it's cool. We got our line dances and things like that, but nobody danced harder. Nobody sung their hearts out the most like they did in the 90s. Man, we made babies. The 70s, 80s, and 90s music, we made babies. I don't know what they making kids to these days. They still having kids, but I don't know what they listen to make them kids. Or maybe they went back in the time and they still listen to old school stuff. Like some of my sons, sometimes when they listen to certain things, who was they listening to one day? I think it was my youngest son. I think he was listening to, what was he listening to? Usher. He was listening to something. I said, what you know about that shit? I used to play that shit all the time when you was little. He said, Mama, we know. We was over here one day and they friends was over here and they was talking about how this was too funny, y'all. because I don't remember it like this. The one Cam that was talking to y'all yesterday when I was live, that was trying to take over my live, my son Cameron, he told his friends, he said, man, when we was little, mama used to wake us up every Saturday morning early. And I said, no, I didn't, unless y'all had to go to a sports event or practice. What is you talking about? He said, oh, mama, so you didn't get up early in the morning and bump your music and open up every window in the house. The whole neighborhood heard your music on Saturday mornings while you was cleaning the house. I was like, oh, did I wake y'all? My son was looking at me like I had a booger on my nose. He said, are you for real? He said, my mama woke us up every morning. He said, we know every old school R&B's hip hop song. And they do, because that's but I thought that was too funny. H5, yes. I love High Five. The kissing game, that was my shit right there. See, but you know what? What I do is, let me tell you my favorite Pandora stations, okay? My favorite Pandora stations is Escape, Cut Close, and what's the other one? Matter of fact, let me go to it. I'm gonna tell y'all this before I get off of here. Hopefully it don't play no music on here. I don't want no copyright. Okay. Soon as I hit my Pandora, guess what song came up to be played next? Pretty brown eyes, you know I see you. It's a disguise, the way you see. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Hold on, let me turn it up, see if y'all can hear it. To your thoughts of rejection, I'm secure. Telling me your time is always breaking. Woo! Out alone, out alone. Okay, that's all. I'll probably have to delete this little segment of the live so I'll get a copyright. But I'm telling y'all, that's all I listen to. That's my shit. That's my era. But yeah, so my stations, my favorite stations that I listen to is Cut Close Radio, SWV, and Escape. Those are my favorite stations on Pandora. Cut Close, SWV, Escape. If you're a fan of the 90s, those are some really good stations on Pandora. I promise you. Okay? And I just go back and forth. You said you're telling me, I told you I'm old, Noble. I told you I'm old. Sure, I'm old. Pretty soon I'm going to need some of that shit that Diddy was putting on his hair. I'm just lucky. I only got like maybe 3 grays and they at the nape of my head. So let me knock on wood because I only got like 3 and they so little you can't even see them. But every time I see them, I'll be like, y'all 3, just stay the way you are. We don't need company. Okay? We don't need company. But yeah, the 90s definitely was the best, Sugar Mama. You said I was thinking Diddy after Loon disappeared. Oh, man. But yeah, 400. I would drop the link, but I got a contractor coming at 7 o'clock. I'm surprised he's not here now. I wish he would hurry up and get here so he can leave so I can enjoy the rest of my evening. But yeah, he's supposed to be here at 7. I have to go and get now I can't even think. Check from the bank. Cashier's check. I had to get a cashier's check from the bank when I got off, so that's what I got to give them. Matter of fact, I have to go downstairs in the basement because I left the cashier's check in my truck, which was dumb. But anyway, it's in the garage, so I ain't tripping. But yeah, so let me run down there and get that out the garage and get that out the car. So when he get here, I can just hand him that check so they can hurry up and pencil me in so they can get started on my roof. But hey, Sunshine, how you doing? Y'all remember that song by who was it? Sunshine, you brighten my life. Sunshine, you make me feel so right. Sunshine, you turn my darkness to light. Who sing that song? And you brighten up the corners of my life. The corners of my life. You do it. And I promise I'll never. Who's thank you, Babyface? Yes, Tender Lover. That man. Whew, that side one. Remember Tender Lover was a two-sided. Remember? Side one was like all the faster upbeat versions, and side two was like all the slow jams. Yes, Tender Lover. That was one of my favorite CDs back in the day. Yes, Babyface. Told you I know all that old school stuff. Don't sleep on the hood table, okay? She might be a little hood, but I know a lot about some love songs and some baby making music and all that kind of shit. But yeah, that was my shit. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I done enough to y'all ears. I done enough to y'all ears. But anyway, I love you guys. Make sure you like and share the video. Subscribe to the Hood Table if you happen to be new here. Hit the subscription bell and the notification, okay? And feel free to drop a super chat or a cash app for your girl, for the commentary. Stay safe, be blessed, remain vigilant at all times. And as we always say, always remember to keep it hood. I'm out. Bye.